Oh, I always get used to that. It's Jose Barajas. Oh man, I'm still transitioning, but jumping on live. I don't even know when's the last time I went on live. I think I was at a barber battle somewhere in New York City, or I don't know where I was at the last time I went live. But anyways, I'm on my way to worship. I'm on my way to serve at my church, Grace Avenue, and I had a hard time last night. You know, I'm separated from my partner right now, and I don't know what's gonna happen. I haven't seen her or my son in 15, 16 days. I don't know what day today is, but I lost count. God is working on my patience and kind of telling me to be patient with it, and I try to rush the process because I'm feeling, you know, the disconnect from her right now. Then I allow these thoughts because of, you know, the people around me or people that I've talked to or whatever what other source other than God puts thoughts in my mind like, nah, she doesn't love you, nah, she doesn't care about you, nah, if she did, she would do this, if she did, she would do that. And instead of just trusting God and letting God work on her heart, I want to rush the process, and then I start these thoughts. That's why you got to be careful on what you put in your brain, man, because I'm telling you, it'll turn into something that is not even of God, and then we want to move on that, and we want our feelings get riled up and our emotions get riled up, and you start thinking these thoughts. I know that happened to me, and I had to call and ask for forgiveness, but I'm not even talking to her. She has me blocked on the phone, you know, so it's hard to communicate, and because there is no communication, my mind runs wild on the possibilities or what's happening or what she's thinking or what she's doing and all this, and it's hard. And God's like, I know, and this is what God told me, man. He's like, you work on you and I'm gonna work on her, so just trust that I'm gonna take care of it. So I was doing that. I was doing good, reading my Bible, getting pumped up, making sure I'm not doing anything I'm not supposed to, not looking at anything I'm not supposed to, not trying to call anybody I'm not supposed to, you know, and I was holding strong until day 14 came back, and I was hurting, and I'm just like, yo, like, you gotta tell me something. And the thing that got everything riled up, right? I think I was good, like, honestly, I think I was good. But then she called me at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I missed her call because I was asleep and my phone was on silent. You know, and I feel like everything happens for a reason. So, you know, I wasn't awake. I actually was awake at 3, and I fell asleep like at 4. And then she called me at 5 a.m. and I missed the call. So in Oregon time, where she was at, it was probably about 3 o'clock, man. So I don't know. So then my mind started worrying, like, is she okay? Is the baby okay? Is her family okay? So then that's what got it started. And then after a while, I started thinking, like, man, is she doing this deliberately? Like, did she do that because I wasn't bothering her or engaging with her? So then she did that to, like, get me riled up. And then now I'm, like, chasing her and pursuing her. So then my mind starts thinking that. So then I'm like, man, is she, like, oh, no. So then I started feeling like, you know, she was taking me for granted, that she was manipulating me, that, you know, whatever, like, she's avoiding me, like she did this on purpose. And I'm out, you know, I'm over here going crazy by myself, thinking, like, what's going on? And I'm calling her and I'm texting her, and then she had me blocked, and then she didn't have me blocked, and then it felt like she wasn't getting reception. So I'm telling you, my mind was just going and going, and I'm like, yo, like, this is not cool. But yeah, that's why I feel like it's imperative that us men, and I usually just focus on talking to men, we have to understand how to keep ourselves in check. Now this, I know I've been talking about emotional intelligence, I've been talking about patience. Right here, this is where discernment comes into play, man. And discernment comes from the Lord. That's why I'm always gonna say this, man. When you study the truth, you can spot the lie. But if you keep studying the lie, which is the world and what they say and how they think things should go, they're always gonna make a new lie. Always. There's gonna be a new disease. There's gonna be a new, you know, malfunction. There's gonna be a new disorder that you have. There's gonna be a new something. In 5 years, I promise you, they're gonna have another 20 disorders that we have. And I'm not knocking psychology. I'm just saying, like, yo, there's always a new disorder that we got to worry about. And oh, well, you got to forgive him because he has, Facebook disorder. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's crazy. And the reality is this, man. And it's not a joke about social media, getting attached to it and living this alter ego on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, any social media. People can portray themselves to be something that they're not. Just like TV actors. Man, these guys know how to act. I mean, when they focus and they act like this person that they're portraying on the movie, they know how to get in character. I mean, to the T. Like, down to the teeth, to, the little facial gestures, hand movements. So if they can do that, think about it. These are real humans doing all this. Imagine how many humans are out there that are not a part of Hollywood, but they know how to act real good. They know how to spit game. They know how to talk the talk. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Lord says, you will know them by their fruit. You can't. And some people, they play God. They play church. They play, Christianity. They play the part. That's why you have to know the truth and you can spot the lie. And I'm telling you, man, all of us, we all fall short. All of us. I fall short. You fall short. We all fall short. The reason we fall short is because the only hero in this story is Jesus. That's the only hero. You can't save nobody. I can't save nobody. I can't save myself. You know what I mean? And I've gotten to a point in my life where I understand that outside sources, I don't let them bother me anymore, man. I make it a point to not engage with the foolery. It's just not worth it. But sometimes, like I said, man, these intrusive thoughts that I got yesterday, they didn't come from any in particular person. But when you're constantly watching videos on YouTube, because that's what I was doing, you'll see those videos where they'll talk about relationships, right? And I watch a lot of relationship videos. I do, because I want to learn how to have a healthy relationship. I didn't grow up with a healthy relationship. I didn't have a stable marriage around me. I didn't see a man treat a woman with love, care, and like protect and provide. I didn't see all that. I didn't. So I'm learning that at the age of 43, and I've raised my kids. Did I do a great job? According to the people that I grew up around, probably. I mean, I raised 5 boys. 3 of them went to college, or 2 of them went to college, to universities. That's something to be proud of. You look at families, especially from where I'm from. If you can get 1 kid to go to college out of 20, that's already a great thing. I got 2 out of 5. And one of them's gonna go into the Air Force, and then he'll probably go to some college down the road. But the reality is this, man. It's important that you invest in yourself spiritually, to invest into your relationship, to invest into understanding, how things work and why it's important to be dedicated to your family. Why it's important, first of all, be dedicated to God. A lot of us, we operate very well apart from God. And we're comfortable. We got the nice car, the nice house, we got the job, we got this and that. But are you happy? Like, are you truly happy with your life? Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel joy? Do you feel peace? Or do you feel like there's always something missing? And that's the thing. I knew for a long time something was wrong. I knew a long time ago that something was wrong. Like, I was missing something. So I thought, man, once I become a real good barber and I open up my own shop and I make a lot of money, my life's gonna be better. I'm gonna give my kids, a better life, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. We're gonna go on vacation and all this stuff, right? Which is great. The amount of time it took me to make all this money, to get real good credit, to get to buy all these cars and the house and all the amount of time that it took took me away from my kids. So guess who was raising my kids? Their mom, the phone, and the TV, and the music. And if I'm not there guiding them and like really telling them like, hey, don't listen to that. That's not good. Hey, don't be eating that kind of food. That's bad for you. Hey, stop talking like that. Hey, stop hanging out with those kids, man. Like, you're not there teaching them. But at the end of the day, I would work 12 hours. I get to work at 6 in the morning, leave at 6 at night, 7 at night, thinking like, yo, man, I'm a real man. I'm putting in that work. I'm working 13-hour shifts. I'm getting this money. I make, whatever amount of money today. And bank account looks good. Credit score looks good. Family's all jacked up. But they're dressed nice. They all got the J's. They got the Jordans. They got the LeBrons. They got the nice clothes. Driving, and different whips all week, day of the week, oh no, but I do this and I do that and I'm there. Nah, bro, I'm telling you, you got to get your mind right. You got to get your house in order. You got to get your priorities set. And you got to stop following all these people out here, man. And stop compromising. I'm just saying, you got to wake up, bro. We got a lot of men out here that are not doing manly things. And if they're doing it according to the world standards. And that's why weak men produce more weak men. That's why we need strong men to stand up so we can teach other men how to be strong, how to rely on God. And then we can raise our boys to be men. And that's what we need right now. There's an epidemic going on right now, bro. Too many boys stay boys until they're like in their 30s. I'm one of them. I'm telling you. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm not talking down on anybody. I'm speaking facts, bro. It's the truth. A lot of us, we spend more money on our J's, our clothes, our cars, on all this stuff, thinking that, yeah, check me out. I got it going on. I'm the man. No, you're not. Because apparently there's another guy that has a bigger house, a better car, and a better woman than you do. And then you go to his house and you see how he's living, and you're like, man, would you want to trade your life for his? And you see what he goes through, the stress that he has. You're like, nah, I don't want that. And then, who's to say his wife would love him if all that stuff was taken away from him? Does she love him, or does she love the opportunity that he presents? Does she love the lifestyle that he provides? And that's the thing. But if a woman doesn't love God, she doesn't love you. She might love parts of you. She may love some of the attributes, I guess, some of the qualities that you may possess. But the reality is, if a woman doesn't love God, she does not love you. Point blank, period. And if a man doesn't love God, he don't love the woman. He loves what the woman can do for him. He loves the thought of the woman. He's not lonely. There's a lot of things that may come from it, but if you don't cherish your woman, if you don't take care of your woman, and I don't mean just buying her stuff. That's easy. Any dude can do that. Spending time, getting to know her, pouring into her, investing in her, lifting her up, building her up, celebrate her victories, understand her language, what makes her happy, what makes her sad, what things hurt her, what things is she struggling with. And these are all things that I never did that, man, for a long time. And I wonder why all my relationships crumbled. And I know now. And, there was a period not too long ago where I went through this, like the grief of all the stuff that I didn't know because I was naive. I started to feel that grief of like, man, I hurt all these people. I let all these people down. I let my family down. I let myself down. And I went through this period of grief. Like I could feel it. And it was an ugly feeling. And then I felt like God just pulled it away from me. And the thing is, man, the reason I tell people, And the reason I'm never going to stop telling people, I will continue to say this to the day I die, man, is that when you're like a cup, right? You know, we're made of more water than anything, right? So imagine yourself, you're a cup, and whatever you fill yourself up with, there's only so much till your cup overflows, right? But if you have all this junk inside of you, you're living like the world, you're living, you know, to appease everybody else, and you're chasing dreams that I gotta live in this neighborhood, and I gotta have this much money, and I gotta drive the Benz, I gotta drive whatever it is, right? If you're constantly chasing these things, that's what your cup is full with. And guess what? You're gonna pour that into other people, whether you like it or not. And I know that some people are gonna be like, well, that's not my responsibility. If they see me, you know, they need to go get this and do that. Bro, I'm telling you, when people see you driving the Benz and they see you in that, they're gonna, man, I wanna be like him. And you're leading them astray without you even knowing. You know, now should you be held accountable for that? That's between you and God. But the thing is, the reason I say that is because you have the same effect when you're living your life for God. Someone will see like, man, whatever that dude's doing, whatever he got, I want that. I want that same passion that he has. I want that same desire that he has. I want that same fire that he has. That all comes from God. It all comes from God. It has nothing to do with me. And that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, when I had the Shelby and the other cars and driving around and doing my thing, I'm thinking that I'm the man. Yeah, right, bro. I was just a boy, just trying to impress people, to give validation, to make it seem like, oh yeah, man, I'm living that life, boy. Check me out. You know, I got this, got that, blah blah blah. It's all in vain. All of it is in vain. All of it is in vain. And I'm telling you, man, you got to get your mind right. You got to get your life right with God, and really evaluate yourself. Evaluate yourself and understand what your priorities are. What are your negotiables, non-negotiable? Learn how to take care of your woman. Learn how to raise your children. Learn how to feed yourself, how to protect yourself. I mean, I don't need you to go get any pew-pews like that, but I'm saying, like, protect your mind, dog. Protect your heart. Protect what matters to you. That's what I'm getting at. Because for so long, I share my perspective. I share my experience in life. And I'm telling you, man, the things that I've done in barbering, the heights that I reached, and all the stuff that I've accomplished, 90% of barbers will not do. There's a lot of dope barbers out there, man. I got a lot of friends that are doing great things. They're cutting celebrities. They're, you know, doing awesome stuff, man. And a lot of them built up brands. A couple of them are millionaires. I'm happy for them. Good for you. But I would not trade where I'm at right now in my life with God for any of those people's lives. I don't care what Lamborghini they're driving. I don't care what mansion they live in. I would not trade my life right now to say, you know what? I'll trade my salvation for what their life. I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reality, because where I'm at, God has me right here where I need to be right now. I was made for a time like this. He's preparing me for whatever position he's going to give me, you know, but my mind, my thoughts, my demeanor, everything's changed. I'm no longer seeking what the world has to say about me. I don't seek validation. I don't need none of that. What I need is to make sure that I stay connected to God at all times. And I want to inspire other men to dig deep inside of them, because somebody might not have told you that you matter. Somebody never told you that, you know what? You're worthy of God's love. You're fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. No one hasn't told you that. So you think like, hey man, as long as I got the muscles and the tattoos and I got the ride and I got the money, I have power now. You have no power. You have no power. You don't. Because if you didn't have those things, a lot of people wouldn't be cool with you. A lot of people wouldn't see you that way. A lot of people wouldn't respect you. You know, and you could say like, well, you know, I'm an introvert, so I stay home. I don't need validation from nobody. And yeah, but how lonely do you feel, man? And what's the sense of having a 10-bedroom house or having all this money if it's just for you? What's the gift that God gave you? Life, the gift, the talents that he's giving you. Who are you glorifying with those things? You have to have something that God gave you. We all have a gift, but Why are you keeping it to yourself? You know, and I've been trying to learn what my spiritual gift is, and I feel that God is giving me the spirit of the tongue, right? Like to speak in tongues and to understand. And I'm trying to learn, trying to learn Hebrew, right? So I'm trying to like grasp it. Like I really want to travel, you know, to Jerusalem, and I want to travel out there and just check it out, man. I really want to do those kind of things, you know. But the reality is, you know, even my baby boy, his name is Judah Moshe, and those are Hebrew names, you know. And it's just, I'm telling you, man, it's just a whole different vibe. It's a whole different lifestyle. It's a whole different feeling of knowing that we're created for more. You know, why get the bare minimum from the world? Why get the bare minimum when you can get all of God's perfect love, all of God's perfect mercy, you know? But he's going to prune you. You got to go through the fire to get refined. He's going to prune you. He's going to remove the darkness that's been in you because you've been wandering through the damn wilderness for so long. You picked up all these bad habits. And that's what God has to do. A lot of us don't understand that, man. We want it to be easy. We want it to be like, I was like that, man. God, yeah, fix me. And all right, let's keep going. Fix my relationship and let's keep going. You know, whatever, man, just tell her to forgive me and we're going to keep going. Like, nah, we got to sit and talk about this. You got to comprehend what you did wrong so you don't do it again in the future. And I understand that now. I understand that I have to develop healthy habits. And I've been taught to not be that way as a kid. We never talk about problems. We sweep it under the rug and you just keep it pushing. And I don't despise my mom or I don't resent my mom. You know, she did the best that she could with what she knew. It hurts when I think back. It hurts when I go head on with, you know, some of the destructive habits that I have. But God is revealing so I can in return handle it and then take care of it. And then have mercy on myself, have mercy on others. When others have the same kind of reaction that I have, I can identify it and be like, oh, okay, I see where you're coming from. I used to be just like you. And then, oh, no. And your mom did this. When you were young, this happened to you. And this is how you decided to protect your inner child. This is how you decided that was the best way for you to not feel pain. This is what you did to numb yourself, right? You got on social media. You started swiping and swiping and swiping. You chased all these women. You really didn't want them, but you wanted their attention to make you feel valid. Like, oh, I am handsome. I am attractive. I can pull that girl if I wanted to. But, you know, whatever. That's all in vain. That's all surface level. That's all, like, honestly, that's psychotic behavior when you think about it, because you're living in this fantasy world that doesn't even exist. And you're thinking because this girl sent me a message, she likes me. Or if you're thinking that there's a real connection between the two, and there isn't. It's fake. And then sometimes some people will like you because they like what they see, or they create a scenario in their brain like, oh, if I was with this dude and he had that car and oh man, he got a good job and he does this. But then when they get to know the real you, the broken you, because we're all broken inside. We're all broken instruments that God has to fix. God has to redeem us. And the reason we're broken is because we've been apart from him for so long, you know, and that's just what happens. When you're apart from your maker, that's what happens. So I'm telling you, man, when they get to know the real you, are they going to stick around? That's when you know you got a good woman, a godly woman, or you just got a broad that's just like, man, she's just a vampire. She's there to suck your life away from you, man, to take your money, to take your time, to take your energy. And then you play this game like, oh, I could play this game and I'm going to holler at this girl. As soon as I'm done with you, I got another one lined up. Like, y'all got to go not waist deep. Y'all got to go all the way in when it comes to that relationship. I've never done that in any relationship. I've always felt like, man, I don't know if I want to, I don't know if I want to go all the way in, man, because what if I give her my whole heart and she changes her mind when she finds out that I have this addiction, or I have this, or I'm insecure in this area, or, I'm struggling because I was abused when I was a kid and I have these mental whatever blocks that I get. And sometimes I have these, whatever it is that you struggle with, whatever it is that that in front of people you can put a smile on, you got the right words, you got the right demeanor, you got the right outfit, you look good, you smell good, but inside there's a little bit of rotten part of you, and you keep that deep inside of you. And the real are going to recognize, like I said, the real are going to recognize a woman, that intuition, that's a gift from God. But it's a scary gift because they can spot when something is wrong, like you're doing something wrong, but they can't spot when something is bothering you. They could only spot when something's bothering them or something is against them. And and not all women, but most women. But anyway, what I've experienced in my life is my girl knew something was off. She's like, man, there's something off. I just don't know what it is. That's the Holy Spirit telling her, discerning her. Now, was she spot on? Not really. I haven't had this conversation with her, but she wasn't spot on. She was in the vicinity. But I struggled with social media for a while. I struggled with women for a while. And it's not that I needed to pursue women and I wanted, like, I wasn't addicted like that. What I was addicted to was the connection. And see, a lot of us guys, we don't know what intimacy is other than physical intimacy. We don't know that when you're talking and connecting with a woman, that's intimacy. You having conversations, talking about your past, talking about your future, talking about your glory days, talking about the great things that you've accomplished. These are all moments where intimacy is happening because you're connecting one wire at a time, one fabric at a time, and you're intertwining little by little. So now when you have the physical intimacy, bam, you're connected. You're soul tied right there, baby. You're connected by your souls. Now, that's a whole different subject, but I'm telling you, I didn't know that. So here I am trying to get all this action from women as far as conversation and just having all these little windows open. They're not doors, nothing I can walk through, but they're little windows that I can look into their, into their life and they could look into my life. So just by having that little window, I thought I had access to them and they had access to me. But that intimacy is there. There's little things here and there. And when they're feeling it, they're lonely, I'm leaving that little window in so they can throw a little note in and be like, hey, what are you doing? And that's all it takes. And that window will turn into a damn door. And next thing you know, you walk in through that door and ain't no turning back. Once you commit whatever it is that you're going to commit to, there's no coming back. And that's what I'm saying. You got to be very careful. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that keeping all these windows open with women was intimacy. Then I got to the root of the problem, which was my mom didn't give me enough love and she didn't nourish me the right way because she wasn't all there like that. She didn't know that she needed to validate me. She never went to any of my awards. She never went to my basketball games, never went to my football game, never did anything with me. I got all these awards as an artist growing up. She never went. She never took me to art school and art programs and like when I got first place and all these things, it was nothing to her. She never made me feel like I was special. So then, because I didn't get that nourishment from her, I got it from my other friends' moms. I would go to my friend Lou's mom and she would cook for us and wash your hands and teach you how to, hey, this is how you have house rules. This is what you got to do. Take your shoes off. You go, you wash your hands, you sit down, you have your fork right here and blah, 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 like all these things, right? And different moms did that for me throughout my life. My best friend Martin's mom did, his grandma and his mom took care of me like that too. And I have plenty of moms that have come into my life that treated me like I was their own. So then psychologically, I carried that into my adulthood. So I may have had my partner, but I always had other women that I would get validation from. And then every now and then there'll be a woman that'll catch my attention, or there'll be something that pulls me towards her stronger than any of the other women. And then I think like, oh, okay, like this must mean something. But nah, man, the heart will deceive you. You always have to protect your heart because it will deceive you. So I'm sharing these things because I want other men out there to know that it is valuable information to know the Bible, to know scripture, to know how to identify these lies that are out here, because it'll save you from so much torment, so much pain, so much, like, there's so many things that it'll save you from. I'm just putting a warning label on the oven and saying that it's hot over here. Don't touch it with your hand. And some people are still going to touch the damn oven, dog, and they're going to burn themselves and be like, oh, well, let me try with my other hand. Psst, and burn the other hand too. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I've seen it. I've seen dudes that make the same mistakes. They fall into the same traps. Why? Because it's just repackaged. It's the same. It's the same trap, just repackaged in something else. That's why I say when you study the truth, you can spot the lie. But if you keep studying the lie, if you keep studying what the world is giving you, and you keep following that breadcrumbing you, they breadcrumb you, and you're just going in circles, and you're falling for the same trap every day, every week, every month, every year. And then you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, oh man, I'm 50 years old, and I've been chasing all these women, chasing all this fake life, trying to get all the money, trying to get all. And I'm not saying money's bad, bro, but I'm saying too many of us are chasing money, not making money. And then when we make the money, we don't even know what to do with it. We don't know how to make it work for us so we can have generational wealth, or create a system where it's going to benefit, the family. It's about me. I'm the man. I'm the king. Let me put the crown on. Let me do this, do that. No, you're not. If you're a king, you have to descend from the king. It takes a king to create a king. And just because you label yourself a king don't make you a king. There's a lot of people that use that word. I'm like, dude, there's only one king. The King of Kings is Jesus. That's it. And if you're not a descendant of Jesus, if you're not from his lineage, if you're not bought by his blood, you ain't no king. You're fake. You're a wannabe. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, that when you tell people the truth, it bothers them. I'm like, dude, stop faking the funk. Get your mind right. And this whole generation is going to be lost if there's not men that stand up. We need men to stand up. We need godly men. They're going to lead our families and protect our families, because stuff's about to hit the fan real soon, and I think God, I feel like God is just calling me like, hey, it's time. I'm like, what? Time for what? It's like, man, I lost my barbershop. I lost my school. I lost so much money. I lost time. I lost my identity, and I'm like, what is going on? I was like, man, I had a good ride, bro. Life was good for about 17 years. Life was good. I was on the up and up, making money, traveling. Everybody, got the likes, got the follows, got the this, got the that, and bam, crash and burn. Then I'm like, man, I just had a baby boy. I need to get this money. What are you gonna do, God? I don't want to lose my house. I don't want to lose all the little things that I have left. And it's like, well, you have to humble yourself. Humble yourself, and I will restore you. I will redeem you. Apart from me, you are nothing. And I'm like, you're right. My best haircuts, my best videos, my best whatever I can produce is like a filthy rag to God. And a lot of us men, we need to understand that. I don't care how fit you are. I don't care what degrees you have. I don't care how much money you got in your bank. I don't care about none of that, dog. Because if the bank system failed today, what? Your whole identity's gone? If your identity's built on your money and your wealth, when that system crashes, then what? Who are you then? And if your business shut down, who are you then? If your job shut down, who are you then? That's the reality. And a lot of us need to see it from that perspective, because all good things come to an end, except for the love of God, except for God's mercy. God is forever, everlasting. Why not attach yourself to that? He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Why not attach your identity to that? That's the question. So I got to get inside, start serving, getting things ready to go. But hopefully this video helps somebody. Hopefully somebody feels convicted. Hopefully it moves somebody's heart, because I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for all this to come out. I just get led by the Spirit, and I just speak truth. And that's all I want to speak is truth. I don't want to speak lies. I don't want to distort anything that has happened in my life. I don't want to sugarcoat. I don't want to, sweet honey lips, none of that. I'm going to just speak it how it is, because all the pain that I've gone through, all the failure that I've gone through, all the hurt that I've gone through, I don't want other people to continue that or feel it. I would not want anyone to feel what I've felt in my life. But the great thing is that God is so gracious. God is so perfect. Even in the darkness, God is still good. And even when my heart hurts and I'm confused and I struggle, God is still good. God is still good, bro. Like, you know, if I didn't have God in my life, bro, I don't know where I'd be right now. I really don't. I'd be lost, bro. I'd be like terribly lost. But yeah, so that's the message today. And I pray that God moves you. Anyone that watched this video, I pray God moves you. Because I'm going to just let it do its thing and let God deal with it. I'm just trying to do the best that I can to be a vessel. Because if I could talk about barbering, if I could talk about girls, I could talk about sports, I could talk about politics, I could talk about... We damn sure going to talk about Jesus. We're going to give glory to the Father. If we can talk about all that, we can talk about this. And the main thing is, man, it's you got God, the Father, you got the Son, the Holy Ghost. Then you got the man, which is the head of the household. Then you got your wife, your spouse, your helper that you need to protect and provide and love and be gentle to. Then you got the family. Then you got your house. Then you got your job. But a lot of us have all those priorities all jacked up. Why? Because the world tells us that you need to be a thug, that you got to be a boss, you got to have this paper, you got to have... That's why in the Bible it says, man, you cannot serve God and money. Why is this so specific? You cannot serve God and money at the same time. You can't. Now, money is a tool. Money is a resource. It's not the source. God is the source. And what God giveth, God can take away. And it's going to be a sad day when God pulls back that money from a lot of people. Because a lot of people right now, their identity is found in their money, in their job, in their career, in their status. It's all these, it's either you have all these things that you own. It's either possessions or positions that are taking you away from what God has created you to be. People don't want to humble themselves. Okay, you want to ride high on that horse, you're going to see what time it is. And it's a fair warning, man. I was riding high, higher than most people that I know. And man, I'm telling you, but God is still good. So I don't regret nothing. I welcome God pruning me, God refining me, God pouring into me. I appreciate it. I find joy in it. I'd rather him take one eye than my whole body go to hell. I'd rather him cut my hand off than my whole body go to hell. Like that's how you got to see it, man. I'm telling you, it's a whole different life out here. When God removes that veil, you're like, oh man, I was looking at these women. I was chasing that money that's not real, that's not backed by gold, it's not backed by oil, it's not backed by nothing. You mean they're just printing this stuff out of thin air and then they're taxing about 50% of it, and then I'm giving the other 30% away to these name brand people that make millions and millions of dollars that don't care about me, so I can impress people that are in the hood or in the vicinity of where I live to make it seem like I'm above them? That's why I'm tormenting myself to get that paper dollar that the banks don't have to back up. Wait a minute. Then what am I doing with my life? It's a good question. But I got to get going. I'll catch you on the flip side, man.